My name is Sergeant Jeremy Piers, the Public Information Officer with the Indiana State Police out of Lafayette Post. While investigating the murders of Abigail Williams and Liberty German, detectives with the Carroll County Sheriff's Office and the Indiana State Police have uncovered an online profile named Anthony Schatz. This profile was being used from 2016 to 2017 on social media applications, including but not limited to Snapchat and Instagram. The fictitious Anthony Schatz profile used images of a known male model and portrayed himself as being extremely wealthy and owning numerous sports cars. The creator of the fictitious profile used this information while communicating with juvenile females to solicit nude images, obtain their address, and attempt to meet with them. Pictured on your screen, you'll see images of the known male model and images of the fictitious profile sent to the underage females. We have already identified the male in these images that were used by Anthony Schatz. The male in the photo is not the person of interest in the investigation. Detectives are seeking information about the person who created the Anthony Schatz profile. Investigators would like any individual who communicated, met, or attempted to meet the Anthony Schatz profile to contact law enforcement by utilizing the tip email, Abby and Libby Tip at cacoshrf.com. Please provide as much information as you possibly can. For example, when you communicated with Anthony Schatz, how you communicated with the profile, what social media applications the account used, and if Anthony Schatz attempted to meet you or obtain your address. If you have saved images or conversations with Anthony Schatz profile, please attach them to your email. Again, if you have any information, please contact law enforcement by utilizing the tip email, Abby and Libby Tip at cacoshrf.com. Thank you.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Sleuth Intuition channel. If you're just joining us, that video there was basically how it all started. That's how we were introduced to this this child predator, Kegan Kline. The only curious part about all of that is when they made that statement, he was already in custody, right? So this is definitely a strategy that we know nothing about. It leads me to believe that even more so that he's related to the Delphi murders. Kegan Kline, I believe, knows who killed Abby and Libby. I believe that he knows who did it. But if it's going to be no benefit to him, he may not be assisting. But I also believe that he is assisting. Keep in mind, they're asking for information on Anthony Schatz when they already know who created it. They already know this person is in custody, facing 30 CSAM charges. But yet they come out with this bulletin here requesting information about the account. It's because they're building a case the same way they were building a case when they let Kegan Kline go for 3 years. Do we have anything to back that up? Yes. They state it multiple times in the interview with Kegan Kline. He says, well, if it's such a big deal, why'd you guys let me go for 3 years? Well, that's when they mentioned the CSAM ring, the largest one in Indiana history. Kegan Kline is a small minnow in a much larger pond of sharks. And I think Richard Allen is one of the sharks that happened to be swimming in that pond. I believe that's the connection here. And there's been some more information, and it may even be more direct. He may know, Kegan Kline and Richard Allen may know each other directly. So I don't really have a rhyme or reason for what we're going to do today. So I think we'll start with some background information on who Kegan Kline is and how his name came to the forefront. So basically, like I said, no rhyme or reason. I'm just going to try to fill this entire live stream up with as much information as possible. So feel free to ask questions. It might feel like a Tarantino flick. You know, it's going to be bouncing back and forth. So if you get confused or if you have a question, just put @SleuthIntuition. And if I miss you, I'm sure the mods will say, hey, Sleuth, we got a question here. That way we can keep it up to date. Not to mention we got people that are going to be showing up in the middle. So if you show up and you're not quite sure what's going on, just let me know. Or if you got to come back or whatever. Okay, so let's start here. Start with the calendar. Okay, now all this information I'm going to relay is backed up with documentation. We got Kegan Kline's probable cause affidavit. We have his interview transcript. And within this interview transcript from 2020, they reference a lot of the information that was in his original transcript from 2017. Now, keep in mind, in 2017, they raided his home. They raided his father's home because of the Delphi case. That's why they were there. This person was a suspect. Now, they didn't arrest him. You got to think about it. They had his digital forensics pulled from all of his devices, and it was packed with disgusting videos. We're talking toddlers. Viewer discretion advised, guys, on this video. It will get extremely disturbing. The new information that has come out, not only about Tony Kline, but the videos that were on Kegan Kline's devices when they arrested him finally in 2020 are appalling. Okay, so according to his interview transcript, Kegan Kline met Libby for the first time around the 2nd. Okay, now Libby was at a sleepover on the 2nd because remember, Friday the 3rd and Friday the 10th, these were both snow days. So they had these long weekends here and a long weekend here prior to the murders. Now, in the interview transcript from 2020, April 19th, I believe around that time, they mentioned his interview from 2017. They say, hey, you were steadfast. You didn't come off it, that you met Libby on the 2nd of February. Now, Kegan was already catfishing a young girl that was friends with Libby at the time. And Kegan Kline actually knew this person's family, knew her and her family. And he was catfishing her. So that's how he was introduced to Libby. So we don't know where it went and we don't know how it spiraled out of control. But that's when he stated, and that, I believe that's what the information backs up, that he began communicating with her on the 2nd. What's up, Judy B? Beach Fairy, good to see you. Sela Stingy. Heather, good morning. Jerry 8. Silas. Olivia H. Nixon 83. What up? I think he will. And we'll open it up for discussion throughout the live stream. Yeah, and we'll take a look at Doug Carter. I grabbed a video. I don't want to play the whole thing. I don't know if it'll hit me with a strike. But yeah, he looks sharp. He looks in good spirits. He seems pretty happy about something. Wonder what that is. Good to see you, Jill Moser. Olivia too. Mama Styles. Anna, what up? Hey, Dee Dee. How are you? Good to see you in the chat. Phil, what's up? Melissa, good to see you. Welcome. Jinx, what up? Patricia, how are you? Vincina, hello. Welcome back. And Dee, what's up? Dee hit up the merch shop yesterday. Thank you, Dee. It's a nice looking hat. Or a beanie you got. So we got Melissa. Leslie's in the house. What's up? V. Marie. Hey. Carol Murray. What is up, everybody? Who am I missing? Bird Blue. Oh, my guy, Brad. How you doing, Brad? Brad's got that good energy. It's rare these days. Hey, what's up, Ruckus? What's going on, man? Yeah, and if anybody wants to call in, Ruckus, Brad, members, viewers, let me know, guys. If you just want to kind of chime in, it won't be long. But if you want to call in and say, "Hey, this is my concern. This is my question. This is what I want to add," thank you, and then bounce. That's the kind of calls that I want. If you want to. GP, Kevin, what's up, Kevin? Whenever I say that name, for some reason, it makes me think of Home Alone. I'm sorry. Mama Style says, agreed. I think he was attempting to leverage his info and get a reduced sentence, and it backfired. Yeah, if anything's going to be reduced and he is involved with Delphi, it'll be on that end. It'll be something like immunity. Maybe they won't charge him for sextorting Libby. So, because I mean, that easily could be another, 3 years, 6 years? Yeah, Ruckus and Sonny were funny. They kind of have the same humor. Nobody cares, Jinx. Don't bring that shit into my chat. Don't you dare bring that negativity in here. Not today. Part of the prosecution, Phil says, part of the prosecution are heading to Mesa today. Tried to set up a live out there, but they are ready to relax. Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff going on. Nobody cares. She Warrior, what is up? Daisy, what is going on with you? Good to see you. Leslie says, if KK knew Richard Allen had some sort of communication with him, couldn't they increase the charges to adding in a murder and withholding information? Not if he's not withholding information. Remember, Kegan's a bad liar. So when you have people like the Murder Sheet or Barb McDonald interviewing and asking him, hey, are you involved in the Delphi case? If he is, I mean, do you really think he's going to be like, yeah, I am. I know everything that happened. No, he's a liar and a manipulator, and he's not as dumb as everybody thinks. He's had plenty of time to become this person. Chris Owens, good to see you. Allen's trial is in January. Maybe by then his motive and his connection with Kegan Kline will finally come out. I think it's going to be a lot sooner than that. I'm thinking here within the next couple weeks, we're going to get a piece of information that will clear this all up, or at least verify one way or the other. Melissa's asking, how did he do all this from Facebook? Do all what? Catfishing? He didn't just use Facebook. He was all over. He used every tool he had available to him. He had a toolbox. And we learned from the proceedings yesterday a lot. We learned a lot about his depravity and how disgusting he really is. And we're going to go into that after we do a brief overview of who Kegan Kline is. WL22, what's up? Julia Barnes, how are you? I think the fact that Doug showed up in civilian clothes really says something. Yeah, I wonder what that was all about. Man, did you see him? He's bouncing around. Yeah, let's take a look at Dougie here.
Begins with breaking news.
He seems very chipper. I mean, look at that cheese. He's got some cheese on the face. Look at that smile. Ah, there's the finger. Now, I don't know who this lady is in the background on the right, but she is about her business. She's extremely determined. She's like, I'm not fucking up today. I don't know who she is, but I'm pretty sure I've seen her in the back of every video I've seen. She's got all this information. Yeah, she seems like a very serious lady, or very serious that day, whoever she is. Man, cheese, nothing but cheese. Little strut. Here comes a hug. He like hugs that officer. Doug's kind of a pimp, huh? He looks sharp in a tie. Good morning, Rebecca. What is up, Mike? Thank you, V. Yep, don't forget to hit the thumbs up, guys. Easiest way to support the channel if you want to. Detention hall putts. It's a new face. We're all just expected to forget about Dougie Carter's assertion of multiple parties, Anthony shots, etc. I don't think he wants anybody to forget. I think he wants everybody out there who has information on that to provide it. Yeah, Kevin, there's a lot of new information. A lot of it I got from the Murder Sheet. They put out a new podcast. They were in court, so I recommend you guys watching that. Rich Nye. I just went around and gathered as much information from anybody who was providing information that was in the courtroom that day. There's a lot of disgusting things here that we're going to talk about. So once again, if you're just joining us, viewer discretion is advised. Yeah, Olivia, who would have thought they would have actually given him 40 years? I mean, he should have gotten the 58, but I mean, I really thought they were going to give him a slap on the wrist. That's what they do with everybody else. Need to start putting more cases under the spotlight. Jessa says, you know how the mob keeps the street level members in the dark. I wonder if KK's position in a ring was like that, street level, like an appointment setter. So he may not know who it was. I don't know. Some of the information that I was able here to jot down in my notebook suggests that he was sharing his activity with others, and I'll explain more as we go on. Hey, what's up, Chopper? 12 days off, man. Nice. Hopefully I'll see a lot more of you in the chat. Yeah, it really does. Let's pull up some of his interview transcript where they're talking about him meeting Libby for the first time. Come in. Hey, baby. Thank you. Ooh, that looks yummy. Love you. Okay, so here, right and you talked to her and you admitted to talking to her. That's not the document I'm looking for. Bear with me a moment. Not as organized as I thought I was. All right, I think this is it. Okay, so we have the day that you gave your polygraph and your interview would be, I believe, the 25th of February, February 25th of February, the day they got back from Las Vegas. Mike, thank you so much for sponsoring today's live stream with that super sticker. Thank you. Ruckus, does anyone have the transcript of Kegan's letter that he read in court? No, I was looking for that. Okay, so investigators say you were steadfast in your interview in 2017 that you met them in the beginning of February, like the first or second, and it makes sense that it would have been the second, right? With the sleepover, Thursday the second, no school Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. So to me, that makes perfect sense. I believe that this is factual information. He said, I never spoke to her beyond February 1st or the 2nd. And the guy says, look, we know you spoke to her the day she was murdered. So these are the things that they're telling him in a 2017 interview. We know you spoke to her the day that she was murdered. You said, absolutely not. I blocked her. She was annoying me after the first or second, right? So that seems weird. She had these images. You saying, that's not you. So it sounds like the girls were really fucking with Kegan here. They may have been setting him up. Like saying, like they're catfishing him. Look, that's not you. Like, what are you good for? That's not a nude. What are you for? Like, what are you good for if you're not going to send me, real images? We have these grooming pictures. And I assume he's talking about these. Give me 1 second. Pictures like this. And there seems to be a lot of confusion about the whole money account thing. Because we're confused if it's sending images of money, but here in this document, it says the money account. So wouldn't they be talking about the money here in these grooming pictures? Wouldn't a picture of money just be another piece of this here? We have the money. Doesn't say the money images. It says the money account. So I don't know what that means. It could have, maybe they just misspoke. I'm not sure. Yeah, exactly, Beach Fairy. That's how I felt. Question: if it's a fact they were unlawful photos of Libby on KK's devices, why no charges? Well, I think we just answered that question. I think he was trying to sextort them. And they were like sending him fake images. Like, yeah, here you go. Yeah, that's right, Mama Styles. These creeps, they congregate online. So that's why we need to congregate here. Because if you go and do a deep dive into sextortion, CSAM, it gets really vile and very sophisticated. We're talking kind of pretty high tech, and the knowledge that's needed to kind of produce it with these links, access to drop boxes, sites like Mega, Wicker, where you can actually charge people like, hey, give me $35 and I'll give you access to this link. Stuff like that. Let's see what this is. Kegan says, yeah, I don't remember talking to her. I remember talking to one of her friends, I thought. And that's actually a daughter of a family friend of his. You said you remembered talking to her. Well, that's what I remembered, her being there, like with their friend, but I don't remember ever talking to her. See, now this is where I got an image of maybe Kegan, if he's talking to this girl and he has somebody there with him, maybe they're asking, do you have a girl for him, right? Well, yeah, I have my friend here with me. Her name's Libby. And who knows what happened with that relationship? That could have been Richard Allen. That could have been somebody who recruited Richard Allen. We just don't know. But there were some things that came out in that courtroom yesterday that make me believe that there's many more people who have knowledge and may have assisted Kegan with the CSAM stuff. And we'll see why here in a minute. Yeah, it's just lie after lie in that interview. All right. Here's where Kegan brings up the late arrest. And they flat out tell him. He says, okay, well then why would it take 3 years for them to come and get me? You know, the $1 million question. And he's like, what do you mean? It doesn't make any sense. The investigators tell him, like, I told you how big this investigation is. I mean, this is, well, a lot of CSAM. And in another page, they say it's the largest CSAM investigation ever in Indiana history. They even said it spirals out of control. As they look through his devices, it just spirals. Tentacles. Oh, here's that document right here. Oh, I'm a little more organized than I thought, guys. Do you have a Dropbox? Now you're saying. Kegan says, I have a Dropbox. Not that I would send nudes and shit through. A lot of people have Dropboxes. Investigator says, people that communicated with you or you shared images through your Dropbox link? He says, yeah, no. He says, we start looking at those people. He's like, we already know you're sharing links to your Dropbox. We start looking at those people and it just freaking spirals out of control to this major CSAM ring. And then the other investigator says, absolutely. And you even have it to the point where when you're getting this CSAM, you're sharing it with your Emily Ann account and your Kegan Kline Dropbox account. Why would you do that if you weren't planning to share it? That's what Dropbox is for. It's for sharing large files. You can't tell me that the guy that you randomly lived with for a month knows your Dropbox password, knows your phone password. So he was kind of blame it on his roommate. Yep, he said that to Hammer and Nigel. We will continue. Well, not only does he say we're going to continue to work on Kegan Kline, but they say in his relation to the Delphi case or his relation to Abby and Libby. Give me 1 second. I'm going to take a couple bites of my breakfast. My stomach's starting to rumble a bit. All righty. Yeah, that could be Carol. Maybe he's just happy, Doug Carter, that this part's done and they can move forward. Ruben Kincaid, what's up? Welcome to the Sleuth Intuition channel. He's definitely not dumb. I'm growing more doubtful of his involvement. We've been thinking any day now for years. No, but this is the day that we've been waiting for. So now's not the time to get impatient, because all of law enforcement that we've talked to, all of the people who work in the court system, lawyers, judges, they all say that if he is going to participate in the Delphi investigation, he has to face justice for these crimes first. Okay. So today is the day to become patient. You know, this was the marker yesterday. If there's any involvement with Kegan Kline in the Delphi case, it's now that we're going to find out. You know, we weren't waiting for anything. We were waiting for this day because we knew we're not going to learn anything until justice is served for those victims. You can't put these children aside and say your justice doesn't matter because we're working on more important justice over here. They can't do that. These people were victimized. Those proceedings need to take place, be finalized, and then I think we're gonna see what's what. And you could be right, but I think the truth will come out now here within the few days. I think. On fish and pond are always connected to bigger fish that are connected to much bigger fish. Think of the Epstein case. Yeah, that's a disgusting case. That's like the top of the pyramid there. Candice Fonseca, sorry for seeming angry. It just gets me so mad. I can't believe people abuse children like that. It's horrifying. Well, what's disgusting is his excuses, you know. By the way, that's me in the purple shirt talking to Doug Carter. Oh, that's cool. You look great, Jinx. Of course, he would be very interested in Libby because of the difference between Peru and Delphi. Okay, so we are at the halfway point. I was going to try to give you guys more information. Maybe we can here. Let's do this. So he was apparently meeting somebody in Las Vegas, and he said it was for this man here. This guy's name is Kyle Titus. Now, according to this public record here, this took place November 13th, 2017. Cass County Drug Task Force. Well, first of all, let me premise this by saying Kegan Kline stated that he went to Las Vegas to hook this person up with a large amount of drugs, and he was doing so on a burner phone via Craigslist, which is ridiculous, and nobody would ever do that. Nobody. So let's go ahead and read this here. Cass County Drug Task Force press release, November 13th, 2017. Cass County Drug Task Force for immediate press release over the past 8 weeks. 8 weeks, guys, before this date. Remember, the murders took place February 2017. Over the past 8 weeks, the Cass County Drug Task Force conducted multiple drug investigations, which led to 39 physical arrests of the following suspects. On September 13th, 2017, members of the Cass County Drug Task Force assisted Indiana State Police Drug Enforcement Section conducted surveillance on a suspect, which led officers to Marion, Indiana. The suspect met with subjects at a residence and departed carrying a large duffel bag. The subsequent traffic stop was conducted where approximately 6 pounds of marijuana was located. Officers obtained a search warrant for the residence where approximately $10,000 in U.S. currency was located and additional probable marijuana, and the following suspects were arrested. Isn't that crazy? It's a lot of money there. So yeah, he told investigators he was there trying to hook this person up. Okay, so let's go over the new information. Sorry, we're running out of time. Okay, this is the information I collected from what was learned from the proceedings yesterday. So apparently, Kegan Kline requested location information from 8 of his victims. So if him or somebody else isn't trying to meet them, why is he asking for their location information? So ask yourself that. Because we see Kegan Kline repeating it over and over and over again that his intentions were not to meet these people. Well, whose intentions were to meet them? Because apparently he was trying to find the location of 8 of his victims, and that was divulged during the court proceedings. Hey, True Crime Housewife, welcome. Yeah, I hoped he would get something like 40. I just never expected it. Kai Chert Guy. Welcome to the Sleuth Intuition channel, Kai. Says, I can't get over Kegan searching the Delphi case and DNA questions in Vegas. Yeah, it just does not make sense. You know, and we're led to believe that he was speaking with her that day. So, I mean, the information is there. The connection is right there in front of us. It's just we don't have the details. But I'm convinced, guys. I'm convinced. Yeah, Olivia, I was thinking like 15 to 20 with the lengthy probation. Because when we cover this case and a lot of the cases in Indiana that are similar, that's what happens. These guys get a slap on the wrist. Original Badass, good to see you. Yeah, I think they let him go because they knew what he was up to, and they knew that he was communicating with this killer. They knew it. That's why they let him go for 3 years. And then when that didn't work, they released the Anthony Shots information. So they exhausted that. They didn't get anything. I think they were expecting to get more while he was in Vegas. I'm sure the FBI was watching him. Jinx says, I shaked Carter's hand and thanked him for his hard work on the Delphi case, and I would like him to talk about the Flora 4 Angels case more. Great job, Jinx. Great way to spend your interaction. Well done. Ruben says KK did say the police did not believe whatever info he attempted to give to them on Delphi. Yeah, just remember he's a master manipulator. Now, if Kegan thinks he's working with McClellan, he's going to use that bullshit on everybody. He's just doing it for another cause. It's no longer to keep his secrets. It's to keep somebody else's secrets. So remember, we're dealing with a master manipulator. Thank you. It's always good to see you in the chat as well. Appreciate you. Yeah, that was pretty much a life sentence. Yeah, William, if you guys haven't seen the Hammer and Nigel, well, actually, here, I made a little video on it. Let's watch that real quick. Might help people understand what we're talking about. Oh, we are on mute. Sorry, I was reading the comments, not paying attention. Jinx says, Sleuth, I'm confused about you going into Prof's live chat and saying you're interested in people doing real research. I don't know what you mean, Jinx. I don't like your tone, honestly. I'm not going to put up with it. I like the good stuff you were saying about Carter, but don't steer this narrative into a negative place. I'm not going to put up with this. Is your last warning. We're not going to do it. I don't want to hear about Prof. I don't want to hear about anybody else. I don't want to hear about your bullshit. Okay? Welcome back to the Sleuth Intuition channel. Let's look back at the Hammer and Nigel interview with Indiana State Police Superintendent Doug Carter. During this interview, Hammer and Nigel fire off some really direct questions that put Doug Carter on the spot. In this video, we will focus in on the questions that seem to cut at the core of the mystery surrounding the case. The link to the full interview is in the description. Let's get started.
Is the guy in custody, Richard Allen, is he the only person being looked at in this investigation?
The million-dollar question. Judges recusing themselves, prosecutors keeping information hidden, and superintendents not speaking up will only fuel the conspiracy theories involving police corruption, in my opinion.
Right now, he's the one that's been that's now facing murder charges. So, again, we are not going to stop looking at other people until this is completely done and we have nothing left to do.
This was your typical Doug Carter response.
But you can call me the Riddler.
Never direct, always vague, borderline obtuse.
What did you call me?
We know that Richard Allen spoke with Dan Doolin. He told him that he was on the trails that day, at the same time the girls were thought to have gone missing. We know that Carroll County blamed the FBI for the lost tip. We know that FBI stated publicly they are not to blame.
Maybe this guy, Richard Allen, has been on the radar for a long time. Did he speak to investigators in the early stages of this investigation?
Doug Carter seems to get defensive here.
That'll all come out in due time. I'm not going to talk about Richard Allen today.
Is he serious?
I do not sense confidence in his voice.
Told you not to go there!
You're telling me the world has waited 6 years only for you to tell us the prime suspect came forward the day after the murder and was working at the local CVS the entire time, but you're not going to talk about this person?
Is he serious?
The search of the Wabash River, they're saying a source is linked to the Delphi investigation. Is it frustrating, especially when you see a police source confirmed?
They knew everything, all right? There was a leak from the inside.
Hammer and Nigel are asking some great questions. We know the search started August 19th. We know that's the same day they took Kegan Kline into ISP custody. With every piece of info relating to that situation being marked as confidential and hidden from the public. We also know the source they are referring to is the same source the Murder Sheet podcast is referring to here.
We had sources who did tell us that it was Delphi related.
It is frustrating. I will say yes. It is absolutely frustrating because
Doug Carter took this opportunity to stick it to whoever this police source was that was leaking information and potentially hurting the investigation.
this case is unlike any that I've seen in almost a 40-year career. So there are so many different tentacles to this.
Another great question from Hammer and Nigel here. Pay close attention how Doug Carter, aka
The Riddler,
responds.
Shame on us for saying something that might jeopardize that. So whoever this quote source is,
Okay, jeopardize what? And he's referring to when the murder sheet came out and stated, hey, we have a source that said that the Wabash search is related to Delphi. And Doug Carter's, he's mentioning that now.
I doubt very seriously that individual.
Doug Carter, aka
The Riddler,
responds.
Shame on us for saying something that might jeopardize that. So whoever this quote source is, I doubt very seriously that individual is a part of the core team.
If they believed he was not part of the Delphi case, not in a million years would they have responded the way that he did here, in my opinion.
The other name that's involved in this whole story is Kegan Kline. Has he been speaking to police? Has he been given some sort of plea deal to help police?
We'll continue to work on Kegan Kline and whatever his connectivity might be to Abby and Libby.
Quote from Doug Carter, we'll continue to work on Kegan Kline and whatever his relation. Let me see.
We'll continue to work on Kegan Kline and whatever his connectivity might be to Abby and Libby. And
connectivity to Abby and Libby. So that wasn't a no, guys. And to me, I call Doug Carter the Riddler because he's trying to tell us something without releasing any of this sensitive information. So when that happens, you got to talk in riddles. Okay. So we are running at a time. We're almost at an hour mark. Let's go ahead and talk about the information that was released in the courtroom. So we know that KK requested location information on 8 of his victims. And previously he stated and tried to convince the public that he would never, ever try to meet anybody. So if he wasn't trying to meet somebody, who was? Isn't that the purpose of finding the location information? He also had another account. I think it was Trey Lauren. I don't know if it was Trey Lauren or Trey Warren. But the murder sheet said Trey Lauren. So I don't know. Apparently, he was catfishing. He was acting as if he was a black guy. But we didn't know a whole lot about this account. So that was new information. I wonder if there's anything hidden there. Victim 1 was 13 years old, and he actually convinced this person to send nude images while she was at the hospital and her mom was extremely sick. So this is how messed up Kegan Kline is. This person is talking to him while visiting an extremely sick mother. And in the images, you can see that it is the hospital bathroom, apparently. Crazy. What's up, homie? The clown is my PSN. What up? I think TK involvement makes sense, but has he been thoroughly investigated? I don't know. I think they're looking for information that's going to further that. But yeah, they're definitely looking closely. KK states TK had access to the phone. Would also make more sense to an involvement with Richard Allen. And that's what I'm saying. And the new information kind of leads me to believe that, or at least somebody like a TK, right? Somebody who's around Kegan often, somebody who he trusts with this kind of information. Now, we know that Kegan Kline, while he was in Las Vegas, was trying to get prostitutes with his dad. All right. So that should tell you a little bit about their relationship and what kind of a father he is. Also requested meeting victim 1 in a hotel. And he sent her a video of a toddler touching a male appendage. Now, if that's not disgusting, guys, and this was found on his phone. These types of videos were found on his phone in 2020. So he was still, while he was basically running from justice, kind of, in Vegas for those 3 years, he was still participating in these acts. After he was arrested in 2020, I think he was arrested for a few days, a week or two, and Kegan's girlfriend found an unknown Snapchat account of his, and he was talking to, excuse me, guys, to 12-year-olds, and images of penises that were not his. And I believe she called him a pedophile and hung up on him. And also, one of the victims had a memory and recalled a video chat that she had with Kegan. And in that video, there was multiple males standing behind Kegan Kline. And he asked if she was interested in a gangbang. See, Kegan Kline's not alone when he's doing these activities. It's very likely that Richard Allen, or whoever recruited Richard Allen, at one point was sitting in the same room with Kegan. It may not just be a Dropbox. It may not just be like, hey, we communicated online and I communicated with who I think is the killer. No, he could have been very well in the same exact room. This victim said that during the video chat, you got Kegan Kline communicating directly with her and multiple males standing behind him, and he's asking her to participate in group sex. The thing is we don't have a correct image of what's going on. We picture this pathetic guy all alone in his room, all by himself. No, he's not. He's meeting up with people. He's doing drugs. He's connected with drug dealers. And according to one of the victims, he's participating in this shit in a group. So I'm just hoping that this new information is painting more of a picture of why he really could be involved with Delphi. He's not just this loner hiding in a basement. He is not afraid to share this with people, especially if he knows that they're already certified bad. That's the one thing that these criminals have is they have insurance cards. If they've seen you commit a felony, you've seen them commit a felony. You can't necessarily go tell on them because they'll tell on you. Now you're both in jail. So if you're both these child predators, you're gonna be more likely to share the information, right? Maybe even boast about it a little bit. We've seen in the transcript, he's like, well, what do you have? What kind of videos did you get? Oh, well, I have this and I have that. And it's all just completely disgusting things where these charges could land you, a lot of time in prison and things like that. So his master manipulation is putting out this, wearing a mask and making the public think that he's this pathetic individual. But look how he acted. The second that he was, he no longer needed his manipulation and he was sentenced to the 40 years and the 3 years probation. He comes out of that courtroom strutting, right? He's arguing with people. He's cussing. He's flipping off cameras because he doesn't need to manipulate anymore. It didn't work. It's too late now. But did you notice how he was strutting? He's walking with his head up. He was walking tall. Long stride. Yeah, he wasn't like that before. He had his hands up. Oh, like a little bunny rabbit. I'm going to hop into the courtroom. That's not the way he walked out of there. That's for damn sure. I think we got a hint of who he really is. Yeah, very dangerous. All right, let's see what else we got here. The murder sheet stated that all of TK's children, step or otherwise, say that he beat them and their mothers violently. So apparently that came out in court. Kegan Kline also asked his mother to retrieve contact information from 13 old friends, school classmates, only to later attempt to catfish them and request nude images. So he manipulated his mom, told her, "Hey, I just need a list of old friends, so that I can get some pen pals." His own mother, guys. He manipulated his mother so that he could gain access to more victims while in prison. This is somebody that looks at their situation and says, I can still do what I want to do, no matter what. Because he was already in a prison in his mind, right? He already looked down upon himself. He was already in a prison. And he escaped through the internet, through social media. So if he has any kind of access to social media or phones or anything like that, he's going to find a way to escape to that place, in my opinion. Thank you, Mike. Yeah, multiple males. Who are these people? I mean, we could very well be talking about one of the killers, right? Multiple males. How do we know this is not the killers of Abby and Libby standing behind Kegan Kline? How can we be so sure? I don't think law enforcement is sure. And I think that's why they let him go for 3 years. And also why they took, why they went in the direction of releasing the Anthony Shots information the way that they did. I don't think it is shocking. See, Doug Carter stated also in I think it was in the Hammer and Nigel interview, that dozens of arrests came from Kegan Kline's case. They've made dozens of other cases. So they did it for a reason. I think they did it to observe his communication. They knew he was a very sophisticated dealer in the CSAM. He was not only producing it through sextortion, he was also trading and receiving. Polyglot. That's a cool word. Polyglot. Right. Cheek says, glad Judgment Day came and it was no slap on the wrist. See you when you get out in 60 years, creep. I almost wanted to clap when I read that. Yeah, it's a good question, V. I'm not sure. Daisy's asking, Sleuth, does KK timeline of blocking LG coincide with LG male friend statement of when LG asked for help with online guy harassing her? Yes, it does. So right around the time Kegan supposedly met Libby and blocked her because she was annoying him is right around the time she went and asked Max Snowberger to accompany her, or to help her. I'm sorry, to help her with a situation involving some online harassment. So what if KK blocked her, but then you have the Richard Allen guy who was with Kegan or now has access to the profile, and he's the one now harassing. He's the one who is taking it too far now. I mean, it's already too far, but, according to Kegan, where he says, hey, I would never meet anybody, This is all fantasy driven. That doesn't mean that's the same case for everybody, right? So if Kegan gives access, however it was, whether it was in the same room or via the Dropbox, whatever, that doesn't mean that they're going to follow those same guidelines, right? Especially if this person is going through a really tough time. They're suffering from mental health. They're having violent, crazy delusions. And now they're communicating with a young 14-year-old girl. Ruckus says after he goes to the reception intake facility, he'll get sent to wherever they feel he'll be best suited for staff. It's all about keeping problems to a minimum, Boston. Thank you for answering that question, Ruckus. Shout out to Ruckus. Yeah, CJ. Got a small portion of what he deserves. I'd like to know how many others as part of the CSAM have been charged, gone to trial, and what punishment they are getting. Please tell me that's not a Bible. Crazy. Yeah, 13 is a baby. A very confused time in someone's life between the ages of 12 and 14. A lot of changes going on with your body, your mind. You're stuck in purgatory. You're still a kid, but now your mind is starting to have adult thoughts. It's a very confusing time, and that's the reason why these predators pick that time. They're susceptible. They haven't had the life experience yet. That's why he picks them that age. Yeah, I remember talking to my oldest about the Yellow app. She knew exactly what it was. She's like, "Yep, that's a Tinder for kids." She's like, "But it's not called Yellow anymore. It went from Yubo to this to purple to..." So they keep changing the name. Oops, sorry. Yep. Hey, Night Shadow. The world is a mess. And honestly, the answer is personal responsibility. If each of us just take care of our own shit, the world would be so perfect. Stop talking about other people. Take care of your own shit. Thank you, Robin. I appreciate you participating in the chat and joining the live stream. Thank you. Pretty sure that's the Satanic Bible. You got it, Diamond. Yeah, Frederica. I mean, if you want a father's opinion, he didn't get what he deserves, but I'm glad that they didn't give him a slap on the wrist. Yeesh. Okay, guys, that's all of my time. Kline Photography. Yeah, that is a little bit alarming. So if Kegan Kline is sharing information with somebody, and let's say one of these victims that he's sharing, let's say it is with Richard Allen. What if Richard Allen sees that and in his mind it's something else? He becomes obsessed. He immediately knows that he's going to hurt these girls. He's like, I know them. I'm familiar with them. I know who their parents are. I know where they live, the area. And he could have had a fantasy when he's walking around the Monon High Bridge, right? He's probably thinking as he's walking, man, this would be a really good place, to set a trap. So that could have been a previous notion. Kegan Kline introduces him to the Anthony Schatz account and Libby, and he uses that opportunity to put his plan into motion. Under whatever stress he was going through, he lost his brother-in-law. His wife apparently wasn't around much, and some personal information has come out about their own personal relationship and possible swinging stuff. Those are the rumors that are circulating through Delphi. So, going through trouble like that. He was extremely skinny, Richard Allen. We see in the December photos from his wife's Facebook, very skinny. So that to me, that hints at drug abuse or illness, right? So it just seems like if somebody was out of their mind, that might have created the perfect scenario for them to commit something heinous like this. It was the recipe. All right, guys. Don't forget to hit the like on the way out. Hit the thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel. Consider becoming a member even. We do stay active. And if you are part of the replay crew, you know what to do. Drop a comment, and we will all get back to you at some point. All right, guys. Take care. Have a great Friday. Have a safe weekend. And I'm sure I'll see you at some point before Monday. So take care.